Welcome to Education 101 with your host, Erik Wolfram. Education 101 is about the amazing education community we have in the greater Spokane area. We highlight the outstanding programs, teachers, supporters, and opportunities of the education community in the Spokane region. Education 101 is brought to you in part by STCU. Here's Erik.
And welcome to Education 101, I guess that would be. I'm Erik Wolfram, your host. Today we're going to be talking about CTE, or Career and Technical Education. And with me, we've got Rob Reavis, who's the CTE Director at Spokane Public Schools. So, Rob, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. So, CTE, Career Technical Education. I had it all right in the beginning. So, Career and Technical Education, something that's been out there. You know, I think it's a piece that we have a tendency to miss sometimes. And I think there's some great opportunities for kids in the CTE world. You get to be the director of Spokane Public Schools with it. What do you guys have going on? What's the new thing with CTE? What's happening out there?
Well, right now we're trying to undo 20 years of advertising that a four-year university was the only way that you could get a job, make a living, be successful. We're trying to help kids and parents understand that there's way more opportunity than there used to be. I'm 57, so I don't know how old you are, but back when I went to school, there really wasn't a conscious effort to split kids.
No.
If you were academic, you're on the college track, and that was the message you got. You need to take the SAT, you need to get a really good GPA, and you need to be getting into a college. And if you weren't so academic, no matter what the reason was, how about you take some shop classes?
Oh, yeah.
And that's what it was back then. It was called Voc Ed.
Yep.
And it was wood shop, metal shop. Maybe you did a little bit of ceramics, but that was kind of it. And we sold that really hard to kids, that you need to go to a four-year university, to the point that kids were taking on huge amounts of debt at 17. Which fascinates me.
Yeah.
We wouldn't loan enough money for a kid to buy a house at 17.
Oh, no.
But we'll give them enough money to be tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands in debt to go to college, with no guarantee of a job, no guarantee of anything.
No.
Because you're 17, you haven't done anything.
Isn't that amazing?
And what terrifying.
It really
and
is.
what the stats are telling us now is that out of every 100 kid who goes to college, about 65 of them don't finish.
Wow.
So only between 35-40% actually earn a degree. The rest of them leave college early, usually with debt, no degree, and no job skills. So they have nothing now. They can't buy a house, sometimes can't buy a car because they have student loan debt. They're oftentimes stuck in jobs that they didn't want, aren't challenging, aren't rewarding, don't pay very well. So they're scraping to get by. And they get stuck in this cycle. And then life happens. Kids, family, wife. Now what do? Now I'm committed to all these other financial obligations. I can't suddenly stop my life and go back to school now that I know what I want to do.
Right.
So in the meantime, we built all of these other programs. So what people may not know is it's way more than wood shop, metal shop. We have engineering programs, computer science programs. We have health science programs. We have sports medicine programs. We have business and marketing programs. We have child development, teaching academy, culinary arts. I mean, we're spread all over the place in terms of getting kids career pathways. So we're rebranding CTE in Spokane to make sure that we are messaging to kids. We're trying to help you connect a passion to a pathway.
That's great.
And working conditions have changed. When I was coming out of high school, I worked construction. We were making $8 an hour. I thought we were killing it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I met a kid this fall at the Career Construction Days who is an apprentice with Acme. And now he's trying to make a decision at 19. Do I continue in the apprenticeship or do I stay with Acme at $38 an hour at 19 years old?
Yeah.
You know, you have now construction laborers who are coming out making $30,000, $40,000 a year as a construction laborer. You have kids in the IT business coming out making way more than that. And the demand is huge. So there's roughly going to be about 740,000 jobs by 2030 available in the state of Washington. Almost all of those that pay living wage or better are going to require more than just a high school diploma.
Right.
So they're going to need a community college program, a 2-year program, a technical school program, an apprenticeship, some type of certification that says I have proof that I have skills, and I have what we call, we're changing the language again as we're rebranding.
Excellent.
We used to call them soft skills.
Yeah.
And those are the things we tell our students. You get hired for your technical skills. You get fired for your lack of professional skills. So we're not calling them soft skills anymore because it makes it sound like they're not that important.
Yeah.
If they're soft skills, what's the big deal? Well, they're super important for maintaining your job, building relationships on the job, advancing.
Yep.
And so that's also part of our program. Not only are we teaching kids technical skills, we're teaching them those professional skills.
Right.
So how do you write a resume? How do you be part of a team? How do you communicate in a way that makes you valuable? So that's the big change. It's not just, yes, we work with our hands. We have kids who want to do that. But almost every job now requires some type of technical skill, computer ability.
Yeah.
You can program, you can operate computer systems. The ability to interact and build relationships with your colleagues as well as your customers is crucial. And kids don't know everything that's available.
No, they don't.
So that's part of the reason I'm here.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that kids and parents know there's more than one way to get where you want to go.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And I completely agree with you that I think that, from an education point of view, I think we have done some disservice over time, and we do need to come back. Although I'll say I think we're starting to do a lot better.
I do too.
Not just saying college is the only way to go. There are all these other things. And I think one of the other pieces that you mentioned was the whole idea of these beyond high school skills. What'd you call it again? Since you have some training beyond high school.
Yeah, it's post-secondary.
Post-secondary.
So whether it's a certificate or it's a 2-year AA degree or it's a 4-year degree.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of really lucrative careers associated with 4-year degrees.
Yeah.
And right now, the statistics say that over the course of a lifetime, if you have a BA or better, you stand to earn probably $1 million more than somebody who doesn't over the course of your lifetime.
Okay.
But there's also a lot of entry-level jobs right now that pay better than a living wage that don't require $100,000 in debt, don't require 4 years to get, and industry is desperate. They're banging on our door saying, "Can you please get skilled workers in the pipeline? We need them."
And I think that's that important piece of defining what is that post-secondary efforts. It's not just saying post-secondary is a 4-year degree and going into this, I'm going to say professional land, if you will. And I'm with you, 46, but even at that, this is the pathway. This is the pathway that you're going to be following. You're not doing, although I took wood shop and some of those, that wasn't a career pathway.
Well,
unfortunately.
And in 2009, when the recession hit, there was, industry's dead. Construction's dead.
Yeah.
These manufacturers are going to go away. It's all going to become automatized. There's going to be robots. And there is some of that going on. You look at the new Amazon plant that's happening out on Airway Heights. It's going to be the most automated, most high-tech distribution center they've ever created. Somebody has to maintain the machinery. Somebody has to program the robot. Somebody has to fix the hydraulics.
You bet.
And it was well-intentioned. There was no malice in, you got to go to a 4-year university. We had financial evidence that said those people are better off. Yeah. And one of our jobs in public education, let's get kids in a better position. And so it was done with the best of intentions.
Absolutely.
But the outcome is that now we're near a crisis in business and industry. And I think one of the things that we've kind of separated ourselves from, at least mentally, is how vital a skilled workforce is to the economic health of your community.
Yeah.
Because if you can't build the plants, people won't, if you don't have construction, they won't come here.
Yeah.
If you can't staff the plant, they're not going to come here. So if you don't develop a skilled workforce, you're not going to grow the economy of your community. And I think for a long time we haven't really thought about that partnership.
Right.
And how vital we are to that. We see in public education 1 million kids a day.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know that there's a better workforce development agency
there's
in
not.
place than public education.
Yep.
And that's not what we're all about. We want to grow well-rounded citizens,
Yes.
great kids, conscientious, caring humans as well. But part of our job is to help build the economy and the communities that we live in.
That's right.
So,
and you know, the thing that amazes me too, and it was something that when I came to the ESD, you know, we have the opportunity to work more in the business within the business community too. I never realized that one of the main ways that they kind of take the pulse of the economic the economics within the region is manufacturing.
yes.
You know, and that's that piece that you were just talking about. I mean, manufacturing starts to go down. We might not see it yet, but that's when they start saying, "Okay, we've got an issue here."
Yeah,
that's
so
amazing.
we do a couple of things. We're rebuilding our partnerships with business and industry. CTE is intricately dependent on business and industry partners to serve on our advisory committees to tell us, are we using state-of-the-art equipment or as close as we can afford?
Sure.
Are we teaching state-of-the-art standards? So is what we're telling kids you're going to do on the job literally what they do? And then are they connected, are our students connected to real-world business and industry people who can actually talk about what the real job is?
What an idea.
So those partners, and we, thank goodness they didn't abandon us, because we did a pretty good job for a while of saying we don't really need you.
Yeah.
We don't really need you at the table. We got this figured out. Well, the reality is the longer our teachers are away from the industry that they represent, the less likely they are to know if we're not intricately connected to them in that avenue. And so we're working to bring them back to the table. And we're working to get the word out that the working conditions are different. You mentioned manufacturing. When I was a kid, manufacturing was a guy in dirty overalls, greasy hands, pushing a button, standing there all day, every day, same thing. No longer the case. If you walk into almost any manufacturing plant, you could eat off the floors. They're clean, they're spotless, because they've got so much technology in there. They can't have stuff flying around. They can't have dirty environments.
Yeah.
And they're trying to attract, a different kind of worker at this point. The average age of manufacturers in the state of Washington is 63.
That's can be.
So they are desperate.
Yes,
to
absolutely.
get young people
That's the
into
average.
that's the average. Is 63.
Oh, that's
so
scary.
They're aging
that's
out.
Scary. I laugh, but that's scary.
It's terrifying.
It is.
And because if you're not in it, you don't recognize that.
Yeah.
But every single part, look around this room.
Yeah.
Every single piece was manufactured somewhere. Somebody made these.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue to need that.
Yes, we are. I tell you what, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
And then when we come back, one of the things that I do want to talk about is you mentioned the whole idea of passion. And I want to talk a little bit about finding kids' passions, and then what are some of the great things you guys have going on.
Great.
Okay, so we'll be right back on Ed 101.
Hi, this is Kurt Stockwell with Well Dressed Walrus. We are a local website design and development company here in Spokane. What we do is build beautiful, usable websites for local businesses. A website needs to be beautiful, it needs to be usable for your users, your customers, and yourself. Contact us anytime. We'd love to talk with you about your online marketing.
I'm Jade Becker, and I'm a senior at Chewelah High School. I'm at STCU's Money Live event. In this scenario that we played today, I was a realtor. My spouse was a city worker. We had an 11-month-old child, and there was a lot of spending for that child, like diapers and formula, and had to buy toys and clothing. I'm very glad that I had this experience. It was super helpful. You need this to get far and ahead in life. I'm Jade Becker, and STCU is here for good.
The following is sponsored by our friends and community supporters at McNeese Wheeler Attorneys. McNeese Wheeler is a boutique law firm in Spokane, handling matters in both Washington and Idaho. Areas of law include business law, wills, trusts and estates, family law, personal injury and wrongful death, and real estate matters. For your full-service legal needs, contact McNeese Wheeler, Attorneys.
And welcome back to Education 101, talking about CTE and talking with Rob Reavis from Spokane Public Schools. So before we left, we were talking about the whole idea of the manufacturing and some of the needs that are out there. In the beginning, you talked about you're rebranding CTE. And one of the pieces is the whole idea of the passion, help finding the passion. Where's your passion and what's the pathway to get you there? So what kind of things are you doing to help find those kids? Because we're talking kids, like you mentioned, I have a 15-year-old, and so I'm still trying to find some of his passions along the way.
So we offer a lot of exploratory courses.
Okay.
We start in middle school. So 7th and 8th grade, we have a full STEM program. We have computer science offerings. We have engineering offerings. We have some medical detectives, a little bit of flight and space, depends on the school you go to. So we want to try to get them early. And in 8th grade, they write that high school and beyond plan.
Yeah.
And so we're really trying to build a structure that allows legitimate conversations on an annual or every semester basis between an advisor or a counselor or a key teacher or a mentor and the kid about A, what are you good at? B, what do you like to do? And is there a way for us to get you into a pathway that feeds both of those so that school is relevant?
Yeah.
One of the biggest reasons kids check out. School doesn't matter. No, I don't understand why I'm learning this. Why would I have to do this?
Oh, yeah.
Why am I doing this? Whereas kids that are in a CTE pathway, they know.
Yeah.
Here's the skill set that you need to be in this career. Here's where this ends. And they can see that. And they often leave with a certificate or an industry standard that says, I can do this work.
Well, and I think that's so important, relevance. Coming from an old math teacher, how many times was I asked, why are we doing this? But, part of that too is what's your pathway and what's the light at the end of the tunnel,
right?
Because that's one of the reasons why we're building up to these things to be able to have that. And I think it's so important too, that high school and beyond plan. Part of me wonders, how is it like other plans that we have where it sits on the shelf and it's a compliance piece? And it sounds like you guys are trying to get away from that and really make it a valuable, relevant.
We are. I think in the past it has been more of a box that we checked. It was a state requirement.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. We wrote the plan, and that kind of shaped, because we were trying to get every kid into a college-ready transcript. It was really pretty easy. No matter what you wrote on your plan, you got to take these courses, these courses, these courses, and then you'll be ready. And then you can choose if you want to go to college or not. The challenge becomes, if I haven't done any of the job skills, if I haven't developed the professional skills along with that, what do I do if I don't go to college?
Yeah.
I still have not explored a pathway or something that I think I might be interested in. And the reason we do exploratory, we want you to find out what you don't like as well.
Yeah, that's so important.
Because that's just as important. If I know I don't want to do this, one of the areas, for example, healthcare, huge need, but our hospitals are like little cities. You could work in the healthcare industry, never look at a patient. Never see it. You could be in the physical plant. You could be in nutrition services. You could be in the cleaning crew. I mean, there's a million jobs inside our healthcare system that aren't doctor, nurse.
Yeah.
Same thing in the computer business. It's not just coding. There's computer repair. There's networking. There's all kinds of systems, web design, all of that piece that I don't think our kids are aware of. So that's part of the reason we're trying to remarket. Part of the reason we're trying to rebrand is to help kids recognize, wow, I really like that, and I want to see more of that. I want to try more of that.
And I think understanding the systems as well, and knowing that there are all these, even though what we see on TV, we were talking about that during the break, is a doctor or a nurse in the healthcare. There is so many other things. You may still like that field, but you don't want to be involved in the blood and all the things there, but you want to be a part of it, you can work behind the scenes,
Right.
and it's
You could be an accountant.
You could be, yeah.
You'd like to crunch numbers. Every business needs a good accountant.
Oh yeah.
Everybody needs good data processors. So there's lots of ways to be involved in the area that you want to be in without being the marquee.
Yeah.
Without being the surgeon.
You talked about STEM. STEM's a big thing right now.
Yep.
Science, technology, engineering, and math. How do you think that's kind of fit into bringing CTE back to the forefront? I'm going to say it that way.
Well, I think those are areas that we are expanding more rapidly because of the need.
Yeah.
And again, we're educating kids for 20 years from now. Yeah. So we're kind of guessing. Here's what the trend says is going to come along. But, if you've been around, the iPhone came out in when? 2011? So look at it now.
Yeah.
Okay, in just that window of time, 9 years, how's it changed?
Oh, yeah.
And so think about, there's jobs that we can't even imagine now that kids are going to be able to do that are going to be STEM related. And even in the manufacturing, they use CNC machines, computer operated. So when they do a part, they program it in a 3D computer, and then they send that code to a machine, and they bring out the stock, and the machine cuts the part.
Yeah.
So it's no longer standing there by hand cranking that. Although we train our kids in those manual pieces so they understand what it's supposed to sound like and look like and feel like before they go onto the manufacturer's floor and play with $1 million CNC machine.
Yeah, exactly.
So those things are going to continue to be intimately connected.
Yeah.
I don't see us separating them in any way. And in almost every area, if you can code, then you understand how computers talk to each other. That's applicable in biomechanics, bioinformation, engineering, 3D design. You want to be a landscaper, you want to do it on the computer so you can put a plan out for it. You better know how to operate those systems. So those are all intimately connected.
One of the guests that I had on early on when I started doing this was out in Riverside High School, and they have a program around small engine repair with, I think they have a partnership with Harley and then a partnership with Yamaha, right? Cool program. I mean, cool opportunity. What kind of programs and opportunities are you guys seeing in Spokane?
So we're growing what we call our apprenticeship network.
Right.
We currently are working with AJAC, which is a liaison for us, Aerospace Junior Apprenticeship Committee. They have established a manufacturing apprenticeship for us. We have 2 students in there now.
Wow.
We have 13 signed up for next year. Those 2 are working for Pyrotech. And they go to school, they get out early, they go to the job site, they're going to earn 2,000 hours of paid apprentice time toward their journeyman's, as well as 15 college credits for what we call the RSI, the required supplemental instruction, which is college level that they take in order to be part of the apprenticeship. We just graduated our first culinary arts apprentice, who is now working at the Grand, where she trained. We have 6 more in that pipeline. We are partnering with the Valley Healthcare Training Center and building a NACMAC, which is
what?
It's a NACMAC apprenticeship. So it's a version of CNA and medical assistants.
Okay, gotcha.
So they'll be able to work in nursing homes, senior care centers, or home care, and they'll be a paid apprentice. We're in talks with AJAC about what we call a precision machinist. Some of our manufacturers need folks to repair the machines, not to work the machines, keep the machines running.
Yeah.
So we're trying to build an apprentice program there. So we're working on those. We're going to revive the construction trades. We've got some really solid teachers in our high schools. At Rogers, they just built a shed. So they trained kids how to build those little tiny sheds. They had a customer order, so they built it to customer specs.
That's great.
We're going to connect those kids to construction apprenticeships. Avista is doing a really cool summer pre-apprentice program for kids in the energy industry. So they see a wide variety of what happens at Avista, the different departments, how energy is produced, the jobs you could have there. So we're really working hard to foster those partnerships.
That's awesome.
We have a great Core Plus program through Boeing.
Okay.
So it exists both at Shadle and at New Tech Skills Center. They hired 8 kids last year out of New Tech.
They really?
That are working at Boeing right now.
That's
at
amazing.
19.
Yeah.
So
That's
we're
amazing.
really working on those parts, building those up. So
and again, getting back to that, just that whole idea of there are so many options out there. So many options out there. And I love the idea of what are you passionate about and how can we help you find your pathway around that passion.
Well, that's how you stay engaged.
Oh, yeah.
If it matters to you,
you're going to stay
then there's
engaged.
value in learning it.
You're no longer sitting in the back corner of the classroom, which
Marking
is
time.
Yeah, exactly. And what's that getting you?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Rob, if there's somebody out there that wants to find out more about whether it's CTE as a whole or something that's happening within the Spokane system, how should they find out?
Several options. One would be to go to our website. We're retooling that, so it has a more modern look.
All right.
There's lots of information there. They can reach out to us in CTE. If they call us through the Spokane website, 354-7314, they'll get a hold of my office manager, Susan, and we can get you connected to the right folks. There's a couple of other ways, too. If they watch KSPS, we're working in a partnership with them called Career Explore Northwest. Where they're doing a series of vignettes and videos about local industry, not just industry. Cool. So who's here? What are the job conditions? What do they have? They can also connect through 14.4 and Tyler Lafferty with the A to E, which is an opportunity for them to build a profile to say, hey, I can be a mentor, I could be a speaker, I can be an advisor, I could run a tour. So there's lots of opportunities for them to connect with us.
Absolutely.
And we don't say no to anybody unless it's not a safe situation.
Well, sure.
To get kids out there. But we'd love to have them say, hey, can you bring a group out? We'd love to tour. We'd love to come and talk to your kids about what we're doing. So
that's cool.
Lots of ways to do that.
That's cool. Well, Rob, thank you so much for being on the show, but also kind of bringing that whole light around CTE back to the K-12 world for me, for that piece, because it is so important. So thanks for being here, and thanks everybody for joining us on Education 101.
Education 101 is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content. Education 101 is brought to you by our friends at STCU. Ask Erik a question, recommend a guest, and hear this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksOnline.com.